Welcome everyone to the MMOs.com podcast. This is episode 42 now, and this is Altai joined by
Omer.
Big Gumble.
Matt?
Sure, Alia.
All right. We want to start off this podcast by mentioning that today is International Women's Day, and I just realized this right before the podcast started, and we got to say, Shu, congrats. I don't know if I should. There's a
Congratulations
for being a woman. Like,
You
we
win.
recognize you. Someone tweeted that we will never forget you. Praise the sun, and they tweeted a picture of Shirley's reverie. So I thought that was.
I
feel like that's
that.
worth sharing. That's worth sharing.
Rip item forever.
I put my Hallmark card in the mail. You'll get my Women's Day Hallmark card.
Yeah, sure. You'll get mine too.
Isn't it?
Instead of
Wow.
Hallmark card though, it's just an email saying hi. All right.
What does the site even do? I don't play League.
Dude, how come there's, I mean, is there a men's day, or is that like every day?
Men's Day is every day.
White
That's a
male
typical
day.
answer.
White men's day every day.
I do feel like there's way too many holidays though. Let's be real. Like there's so many bullshit holidays,
There's
including
like
this one.
a girls' day, there's like a boys' day, but there's no
There's
men's
to,
day. There's no men's day.
we need an MMOs Day.
Oh,
What day would that be?
that's
We
pretty
do,
good.
we do.
There's no
We need Ragnarok
1337.
Online Day, all right?
I don't know. I'm down with that.
I think all no MMOs in general would be good.
An MMOs Day. Yeah, celebrate MMOs.
The day
We'll get back to
MMOs.com
you with that.
that we got the domain name. How about that?
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. What day is that? It just passed, right?
I have no clue what they did.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. That's. We'll start on holiday eventually. All right. That's the goal. That's the MMOs.com dream.
We know
Make
what's
MMOs
fun. Go ahead. Make MMOs what? What's the
A
dream?
federally recognized holiday where
that's
kids
not
will get off school to be able to grind. All right. That's the dream.
Hashtag make MMOs great again.
Hashtag
I got it, guys. Make your own Chinese MMO clone day,
Wow.
where we encourage everyone to make an MMO clone.
That's the
You
day I
encourage
quit.
everyone to spend the next 3 months of their life doing crunch time just to make a game that'll be out for like 2 weeks at its peak.
No, you just copy it. You get the code and you just copy it.
The old copy pasta. All right. Let's transition to the weekly raid. Gumble. Bring
Actually,
us in.
it works as a pretty good segue. This week, I wanted to talk about everyone's favorite topic, censorship.
Alright.
Every now and then, periodically, there are articles that make the rounds in games media regarding censorship in video games. But I want to talk about it on a more general level and in regards to MMOs. You know, video games have been censored since the 8-bit era. Ness was made to wear pajamas because he was naked in Earthbound when it was
Really?
released in the West.
I didn't know that.
And Bowser, he gave the middle finger to Mario, but it was, like him teasing Mario because in Japan it doesn't have the same, fuck you meaning. So that was actually changed for the West as well. But nowadays, when we see this headlines, normally it's, in regards to sexualized content. Most famously, Blade and Soul, the lingerie was changed to more basic underwear in the game's release, and the game's narrative was changed. And the reason why censorship normally happens is censorship is more of a business decision because you want to appeal to an audience when you're releasing in a new region, right?
Mhm.
So at the same time, though, censorship, there's a follow-up point to censorship, which is where games' content is altered, or there's new stuff added, like Black Desert Online didn't have darker skin tones in the Korean release. But when it was brought over to the West, they added those darker skin tones in. So you kind of have two sides of a coin here. Censorship refers to one, but there's also catering content to a new audience. So this week we're asking you guys, is video game censorship ever acceptable? There are different ways to look at it. Is it wrong to remove content, but okay to add content? Neither or both. So you can let us know in the comments and let us know in Twitch chat on the side here.
I want to jump in. All right.
Jump in, please. That's the
I'm
point.
jumping in. All right. First of all, not MMO related. Censored hentai. Come on. It ruins everything.
Even
All
their
right.
porn is censored, so why wouldn't this...
Yeah. Well, okay.
Why are you
but, okay, the
surprised?
porn is different, but come on. And how poorly it's censored is so funny because you can really see like 80% of it anyway. You got to use 20% imagination, but come on. All right. It ruins the juice.
I think this is where I wanted the topic to go, so I'm glad this is where we took it.
All right. That's where we took it first.
I'm not going to be the one to follow that. Somebody else
Alright, I'll
go.
follow it with something more reasonable and measured. So,
Wow.
I feel like the early days, a game was a cart, right? Like one product, and it shipped. So it was, in that sense, it was like a novel or a piece of art or like an album. But today with online games, MMOs especially, they're more like services. Like they constantly change, the patches always come out. So it's not a constant product. So it's not really censorship so much as tailoring the product to the customer, the service to the customer. So I think it's okay, especially in MMOs. I don't see it as a problem.
That is the most arbitrary criteria I've ever heard.
No, it's
if you're releasing
a
a product,
defining it as a service.
Yeah, if I'm a developer and I make one product,
but all games are defined as a service now if you buy on Steam.
Well, it doesn't matter how they define it. I'm defining it as if it's a product you ship and it's done. That's your art. Even if there's bugs, like Melee had bugs, right? For like wave dashing. So those bugs are part of the art. But in an online game where there's constant patches, constant updates, and the whole purpose is residual income, it's a service now. Like accounting.
Yeah, but every game has constant updates if the developers can support it now. It's not just an online games thing.
Okay, let's not get too sidetracked with the definition of what the game constitutes. I think that's going to take us off the
beaten path here. Let's
just talk about censorship.
Don't censor art. You can change services.
For me, on Arhan's point, I've been playing Fire Emblem, which is a cart, and they censored it, and I'm sad.
Yeah, see that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm kind of against that.
Yeah, like the new Fire Emblem game in the Japanese version, there's like when you have like your husband or your wife who you can like pet them using the DS Touch, and they completely removed that system for the.
You can't pet your husband though.
You can't pet. It's not allowed apparently.
I can't honestly say that's a huge loss.
Well, God, are these censorship or these localization issues? These seem like localization things.
Well, that's the thing is that the line's blurred. I mean, why is localization different from...
It's still...
Okay, so it depends on how you want to take censorship, but I would say if you're going to remove any content, then consider that censorship.
All right.
Right, even if it's a part of localization, which is what it comes down to.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it like the whole like game like that thing. I'm gonna put it this way. I played a game called Criminal Girls on PS Vita, and that thing is super racy. But anyways, it had this weird mini game where to regain your party members' health, you had to beat them while in a safe zone. Basically, it was really weird. But anyways. It's just, it came off as tedious, and I don't even care what's going on in the background. I would have rather just, like, clicked a button, recovered them, it showed whatever the fuck it was going to show, and I didn't have to go through the stupid minigame.
I mean, yeah, that just really defeat the weird feature of the game. But
no, but, like, it's probably just catering to the audience, like, I feel that way. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that's gonna feel like don't want to do the stupid mini games to do this thing.
Did they make the boobs like smaller in Blade and Soul too, or like or is it just the costumes? Like just the bodies themselves? Are they less sexualized?
I just know that the costumes were made less skin is showing in the North American costumes. That comes from a hyper reaction, I think, to sexualization in games. And you have to, again, it comes down to different cultures too. You know, Japan is a dramatically different culture than America. America is weird, or I think it's just America. I don't know about
You're saying America's weird? Japan is the weird.
Japan is the weird one. Let's be real.
They're both weird in their own right? So in America, we love, violence is fine, but there's, these hyper reactions to sexuality, and Japan over sexualizes young girls and everything else, tentacles, all that shit. So, it's when you're a company and you're publishing in different regions, you're playing this balancing act. If I want to appeal to the widest possible audience, I'm not going to leave in the petting little girl mini game. I'm not saying that's what Fire Emblem was, but I'm going to try and cater it to reach the largest possible. And I think Aion is on a point. Like games, the whole is game art debate, I don't think is fair to bring into this because then you're going outside the scope. But if games are a service and it's more of a product, then from that perspective, yeah, you're gonna alter it. Personally, I'd prefer to see everything unaltered. I get that it's for localization. I'd rather see Japanese culture or whatever culture expressed in the game and get to see that, experience it in the West.
That's true.
Yeah. And if it is like totally screwy and it makes me reconsider Japan's moral standard, that's fine. But I want to experience that because it's different. I don't want something that caters to my culture. But I think that's
ultimately more fun. I think we can agree it's a business decision.
Yeah,
unless you're in China, and then it's a government decision.
Yeah,
Pop them out. Got your back.
By the way, they don't censor bones in all games, just a couple. So they're like they just pick and choose. I know WoW was one, but it's not everything.
All right, and a totally relevant point. All right, totally relevant here. Is it an act of cultural imperialism for the West to tell Japan they need a minimum age of consent?
Okay, all right.
Why is that cultural imperialism?
Because
that's outside the scope. That can be discussed in the after show. All right, that's outside the scope of MMOs.
That's cultural imperialism for sure.
Wow.
That is the Americans, the UN saying it, isn't it?
The UN told Japan they have to make a minimum at least like 12 or 13 for a girl to say yes.
Look, if she can say yes, it counts.
And this is related to MMOs because Terra has a little girl character, right? And they had to censor her bikini or something in America.
Lolly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to download a patch to like uncensor it.
Xenoblade Chronicles had the same thing, a 13-year-old in a bikini. And in the West, they made sure she was wearing more clothes.
We can all agree Japan is the most progressive age of consent policy, all right?
Yes.
And with that, we should move to Black Desert.
We'll move on. But again, let us know in the comments on the site. I think this is an interesting one. So
Yeah.
And I'm sure there will be some controversy here. So yeah, go ahead, take us away.
Black Desert Online. We're all still playing it, I take it. Except Shu.
Not.
Except you.
I'll
Yeah,
never
I'm really
play
enjoying
it.
Black Desert.
You have it idling at least 24/7. So.
I have it idling about 24/7. I'm fishing right now. I'm really enjoying the game more than I expected to, and I haven't felt this addicted to a game since playing Final Fantasy 14. So, but go ahead.
I have one little complaint, all right? And I think maybe Matt and Aaron can tell me I'm being
I have
stupid.
A lot of little complaints.
Me too. But here's one of them, which I don't think a lot of people realize. The amount of time it takes from when you double-click Black Desert Online, right, on your desktop, and you click the play button, from when you click the play button after you log in already, the time it takes to get in game, I counted. It takes 90 seconds.
Yeah, way too long.
That's way too long.
Dude, actually, Blade and Soul is just as bad.
Yeah, I
You
know.
guys have been
Blade
playing games for how long, and you're complaining about 90 seconds? Come on.
No, but come on. A lot of games, once you click play and the game launches, it's a smooth process. You get in within like 20 seconds. 90 seconds is way too much.
All right, but to be fair, there's no reason to close it.
I think that's being
Well, you can complain about that. That's fine. I never leave the game. I don't ever
I'm a
exit.
title consumer. I can complain about anything I want, all right?
All right, so what I want to talk about real quick before we get too sidetracked here, if you guys are watching the stream, what I love about this game is how much of like a world it feels like. And it's something MMOs have been missing, I think, for many years now. Like, it's not just combat. It's like the towns, the cities, the nodes, the gathering, the mining. It's all connected. You see NPCs walking around. You see wagons running around. It just feels like a complete fantasy world. And that's the first time I felt this for many, many years.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think the game's biggest issue is the way it presents its systems. And a lot of people, I read a lot. Well, if you just do the quest, you'll understand everything. Well, I did the quest and I didn't understand everything. I had to really like sit around for a while and get comfortable. It took me about 6 hours to start to feel relatively comfortable with the game, and I think that's the biggest issue is that you got to put in the time, and you really got to want to put in the time, or you're not going to get anything out of it.
It only took you 6 hours. It took me the entire 20 hours I spent in closed beta.
I said to begin to feel comfortable, and I didn't even figure out nodes and conversations in closed beta. Like I was just trying to run through content.
Yeah, I'm like halfway there, and I would have honestly. I think the attrition rate for this game will be over 50% because I was close to quitting. Two friends who were really into it had to handhold me and like explain slowly like what's going on. And now I kind of get it.
So, yeah, like Sean was saying, the quest ease you into it, and then they get you about like 10% of the way there, and then they just stop. And the rest of the other 90%, you have to like sit there and ask in channel chat and hope that somebody helps you, and not doesn't just go Google. Yeah. No, I'm talking about everything.
Yeah, nodes, gathering, crafting, the building houses, in the cities,
conversation.
Yeah, I haven't touched it. I haven't touched anything.
I can see if you did not take a look at the map and look at all the buildings and everything and see what you can do, it's really confusing that you can craft resources. Like, you can craft other resources, but you can't craft items. Like, you can make a melted shard out of ore, and then you can make an ingot out of melted shards, but you cannot put those ingots into anything as your character. You have to have a building. Yeah. That is really confusing as a new player.
Yeah. Which is why, if you're confused, there's a wonderful video on YouTube by yours truly that we're watching right now.
Professor Gumble.
By
Yes.
Professor Gumble. Yeah, if I didn't make that...
I like the way you narrated that video. It was really good.
Oh, thank you. That's called writing it out first. And that's how you do
We
that.
can't have that, boys. You can't have that. You got to YOLO it.
Yeah, I normally do YOLO it, but not that time. Couldn't do it.
So I think what we can all agree on is Black Desert does a lot right because it doesn't focus on just the PvE grind of the combat itself, okay? Because I know we talked a lot about this Blade and Soul, and we usually say combat is like, according to Shu's argument, combat is everything, and I agree that combat
Let's not go back there.
was a big thing. However,
Not everything. It's
Black Desert kind of
all
shows
good.
you that Black Desert is a more well-rounded game than Blade and Soul, and more well-rounded than most MMORPGs, especially most recent MMORPGs. It's a game where you can do a lot more than just grind and combat. I mean, Aaron's level 21.
Yeah.
I'm level 28, but I feel like he's explored a lot more of the game world than I did. I'm higher level, but he's done a lot more than I did.
I spent 6 hours one day without killing a single mob playing, like actively playing.
I've done that too, yeah.
So
That's
how
the thing,
many
right?
games do you do that?
So
Nothing.
Not
there's
many.
no-
You have to be willing to explore each system, or you won't get a lot out of it. If you're not gonna try and mess with crafting and the node management, I feel like, you're gonna waste your time. So you gotta be someone who, like, I like crafting and trading and stuff. So for me, it was an easy choice to try and learn it, and it wasn't easy. Again, re-emphasize that.
it's not quite Eve in difficulty and learning curve, but
No.
it's not there. But it's still like probably the second big mainstream game that in terms of learning curve.
Higher learning curve.
that I've
yeah.
hit in a while. Right? What else would MMO wise? What else is steeper than this?
Oh, it's nothing. This every other
Ultima
game
Online.
is combat. Yeah.
Well, that's 20 years old.
So Ultima Online, yeah, no, I think I have to agree because most games, most games do follow, that traditional formula, the quest theme park thing, I guess, where you grind through. So they took a chance with this one, and I mean, the servers are overloaded, so they must be doing something right for now. I mean, it's only been 1 week.
Every single server is overloaded.
And I also want to compliment. I think they deserve a compliment because even though there were issues at launch, it is one of the smoothest launches I've seen.
Yep.
For MMORPG, everything's working. The Division, I just read today, I think the Division's having trouble. Like, most of these games have so many issues on launch. I think Black Desert's done a fairly good job.
They were smart to
certain
fit in
items.
with the pre-orders basically because they were able to scale their servers as needed.
Yeah, definitely. So props to you guys. Props to Dom.
Good job, Dom.
Yeah, and Ubisoft is a huge company, right? And they couldn't pull it off.
They're multi-billion-dollar company.
Dom's a
aren't they?
huge company, though, aren't they?
Dom publishes a lot of games in Korea, as
Yeah.
I showed Matt earlier, but I don't know how big they are because
I'd be surprised if they're bigger than Ubisoft. Like they could be though.
Oh, and the reason why I think it's also impressive that the servers are full is also it is a buy-to-play game.
That is definitely impressive. I thought people were gonna cheap out on it, but they definitely didn't. And they've shown that if you have a good game, people are actually willing to pay for it, despite how many people complain about it.
I want to talk about combat in Black Desert. So I have a little bit of gripe over here too.
Please.
Combat it's fast-paced, it feels good, and it has an old-school grinding mechanic to it. Because honestly, in order to level up, in order to gain XP in Black Desert, there's a lot of questing too, but in order to gain XP, to be efficient, you grind, okay? You go to the busiest area, you pull as many mobs as you can, and you just actively grind. So I was at the monastery in the game, which is always heavily camped where the cultists are. And basically there was like 8 people there. I partied up with 2 people, right? And we're grinding. And the way the grinding works in the game is you're always on your toes. Like you can never let go of the keyboard. You're always attacking. It's a very active grinding process. There's no downtime. So I feel like I couldn't get the social elements I got in other games where you wait in between respawns and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because you're always grinding. There was no room to talk. There was one guy talking about Ultima Online in the general chat, and I couldn't even respond to him because I always had to pull more mobs and keep fighting. I had no downtime while I was grinding. I feel like a lot of other games kind of give you that downtime, and it gives you time to socialize. But here, you're always working. You're always grinding.
I feel like if you want downtime, you shouldn't be in a combat zone.
Yes, that's true too. But because literally, I had not 5 seconds of rest time.
Or the sweetest grind spot, because remember you said the monastery was like the sweet spot.
Yeah.
There are
That's
less.
some of the most. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's it.
I was gonna say some of the most social, like the games that had like the most social memories for me, were games that you actually talked a lot while fighting in combat.
Yeah.
So like good examples like Ragnarok is a good example of that, and the old Final Fantasy, like you would just grind. You would just sit in a spot, and like one person would pull, and then everyone else you just talk and stuff, while you're waiting for the mobs.
I don't know. I think you guys have to realize that you can't have action combat and talking during combat. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't have your cake and eat it too there.
But you could though if they just had like they tweaked it, so then they tweaked the respawns, then you could.
Okay,
if
so
they
here's
tweaked the
the thing,
respawns, we would have nobody grinding because there wouldn't be any spawns to grind.
No, there are slower respawn. Omar just went to literally the best spot.
You can tweak the EXP values to that as well.
Right?
It's a lot of work just to make sure people can talk during grind.
No. Here's the thing. Black Desert was one of the games where you don't just kill one mob every like 10 seconds, right? Like traditional Korean RPGs. It's a game where you kill a mob a second, or like a mob every 2 seconds, if you want to grind efficiently. When you're in the monastery, you're literally killing a mob every 2-3 seconds to be efficient.
So there's killing one mob.
One mob every 3 seconds.
Let's be real. You're killing a group of mobs. That's how you grind in Black Desert.
Yeah, of course. But then I'm saying on a per second, because you're pulling so many things at once that your character feels really strong, which is a nice feeling. But it also, again, always keeps you on your toes, and there's no room to communicate with other people, really.
See, I think your complaint would be valid if combat wasn't as flashy and involved. If combat was just tab targeting, and you're tab targeting from one to the next, then I get it, because in that's more of a passive system or a rotation-based combat system. In this game, it's you're constantly dodging around enemies. You look like a Michael Bay movie, constantly prewing and all that crap. And if that's what it is, and the whole emphasis on combat is that constant action Hollywood movie style, then I don't want any downtime at all. I want to be constantly in the zone. If I want downtime, I'll go back to town and I'll talk. And I think the whole energy chat thing helps promote social interactions. But
the energy, it costs energy to talk in the global chat.
But that's the thing, right? So because of that, I think part of the idea behind that was to motivate people to congregate and talk, to not spend energy, like talk in town and stuff, rather than turn chat into barons, right?
I think it was just to limit spam.
Yeah, and it works for that regard. But I was gonna with the limiting the general chat. Let's be real. Like when we played Skyforge, one of the things I enjoyed the most was not necessarily the game. It was the global chat. I was just talking to people about our previous games that we played, and we know, it was a good experience, the socializing aspect. But you can't.
I feel like
socialize
if you're going into a game and talking to people about other games that you're playing, there's an issue there.
If you're playing an MMO, an MMO is a social experience. Let's be real. Come on.
How is there an issue? I mean, that's like a lot of the fun of an MMO is socializing. It's like,
but talking
why
about
are you playing an MMO then?
Okay, but talk about other things too, like some like real life stories, whatever.
Talk about anything.
Okay.
Like,
no, I'm just saying if all you're
not
doing,
about the game.
My example. He's saying my example.
Omer said the most enjoyable part of Skyforge was talking about other games. You don't see an issue with that.
Okay, fine. It was a bad example, all right? There was one topic we discussed, right? There was one topic. We discussed other things too, like what was happening in this random guy's life. It was a social experience.
Okay, my 2 cents here with the social thing.
Please.
My biggest complaint, I guess, with Black Desert so far is the paradox there. The world feels alive, right? But at the same time, I've had 0 interaction with other players.
Me too.
0.
Yeah, that's fair.
I haven't whispered anyone. I haven't general chatted. I
partied once with a random guy.
I haven't partied with anyone outside like my Discord group, my friend group. So it's such a vibrant world, and the paradox is that there's no reason to talk to anyone.
Yeah, see, this is an issue I had. You can't trade. So the way they fixed it is so that everyone can make everything. Therefore, you don't really have to interact with other people, and that kind of bothered me a little.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That gets rid of the social cohesion.
What do you mean you can't
Single player, multiplayer. Yeah.
You can literally only trade potions and a few low-level items.
Yeah.
Well, what about crafting?
You can't trade crafting items.
Okay.
You have to buy them on the auction house instead. There's no direct player-to-player trading.
But the auction house
because there's no dungeons too. There's no reason to group up necessarily to fight through an instance or something.
This definitely wouldn't be my type of game.
But no, I'm hoping the guild wars and PvP and stuff kind of force more guild and interactions and stuff.
To be fair, there are people constantly looking for groups to grind. But I mean, that's about the extent of group interaction that's needed.
Well, it's all going to be focused on the PvP and the end game, and of course for PvP you're going to have other people, and that's kind of what I'm waiting on.
I can see myself twice on the stream now. And I'm wearing the same shirt in that stream.
I will say, we did make a guild in Black Desert. A lot of you guys have been asking. But the thing is, there's a 15-player limit right now. Until we upgrade the guild or something with money, I guess. So we got to wait on that. So
our guild has the best name. It's called Bakawatch.
We're on the server Orwin. So if you guys haven't started yet and you want to play with us eventually, that's the server name.
And they had war declared on them already.
Yeah, we're at war. We're the biggest guild. One of the strongest guilds.
We can take them. They got levels on us, but we got spirit. We got soul. All right.
We believe in ourselves.
And that's what matters.
And if you haven't upgraded any of your weapons, you're fucked.
I upgraded my armor once.
So I've been buying those shards. Feels good.
Yeah.
The Blackstone, you have to upgrade them with Blackstones.
I should mention, Black Desert actually has a really good nude patch. Like, really good compared to the Blade and Soul one. So if you want to enhance your experience further, just go to Google the Blade and Soul nude patch. It's out. God bless those modders.
Nipples were actually in the game already. They actually when they made the models, they included them. So God bless the developers there.
All right, that's enough Black Desert talk anyway. We talked. Obviously, it's still a big game, and we're playing it.
Of course.
And there's my character. There's my. I spent $7 in the cash shop, and you guys can tell me if it was worth it.
If I wasn't to spend $7, I would have bought inventory slots.
No, you could buy literally one inventory slot. It's like $10 per inventory slot.
No. It's 8.
No.
It's 8 for 10. It's 8 for 8, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 8 for 8. Yeah.
I thought it was like each bundle was one.
No, that'd be ridiculous.
I was like, that's a ripoff.
No. It's $1 per slot basically.
I look super kawaii, so it was worth it.
I just went robot for a second there.
Yep.
Where she goes.
All right, let's transition out to there's some big news on the Tree of Savior front. So there was a leak on the game's open beta. And look, you guys at that.
You're roboting
out there. Omer, turn off auto tune.
Turn off auto tune. All right, so this is the news about TOS here. Basically, there's a leak from their announcement, apparently, saying the open beta is going to be March 14. But I don't know if this is believable because it says March 7th you can pre-install on Steam, which we can't yet. So
yeah, so I think this is a mistake, and that's why this didn't come out. And I'm going to go ahead and say it's coming out a week after March 14th. I don't think it's going to come out on March 14th. But this is just a fun... It does show that they're planning a release soon.
Where did this image even come from?
That's a good question. Where did this come from?
Is that even on the site, or is this like some elaborate hoax?
It's not on the site, but apparently it was. Someone says.
Someone
says. You know where I get all my sources? Someone says.
Someone.
I always go to someone says. I mean, it looks legit, right? If they Photoshop this, it looks pretty good.
I guess someone says is more legit than asking Jeeves.
That'd be a great news website. Someone says.
SomeoneSays.com.
So are you waiting for TOS, Joe? Is that your...
Yeah, I'm gonna play that instead of Black Desert Online.
Wow.
Someone says...
curious.
I especially don't want to play Black Desert now after hearing about no group interaction and stuff.
No,
there's group interaction.
There's group with your own group, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't really talk to other people outside your own existing friend group.
I don't like that.
Let's keep it on Tree of Savior. I'm actually really curious to see because I'm gonna play Tree of Savior. I'm really curious to see, what do I stick with or what do I play more? Because I did enjoy Tree of Savior a lot when I played it in the closed beta. Was it 2? And will it steal me away from Black Desert, or will I grow bored already with Black Desert by the time it comes out? I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it though, so we'll see.
Hopefully
and it is open beta, right? Free to play.
Yeah, I have a different group of friends that are probably going to play TOS, and if they do, I might play with them, and we'll just see where it goes.
Thing about Tree of Saviors, I'm curious about their cash shop, because I remember the Korean version had a lot of complaints, because they charged, $30, just like Black Desert, they charged, I think, $20-something for hairstyles. And it's funny that now the complaints move away from pay to win and they moved to now the cosmetics are too high.
But that's not a big issue, I think. Charging
No,
like
it's not
for
a
the
big
cosmetics,
issue, no.
who cares? It doesn't affect the game.
Well, somebody cares.
I mean, people are gonna bitch regardless, but I think that's a much better thing to bitch than other things.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I had no desire to play Tree of Savior. I've never had any desire to play it.
Wow.
You know what the issue is?
I think the art style looks nice, but like beyond that, I don't care.
Nothing for you.
Nothing for you.
Yep.
A lot of scrubs I know, a lot of casual scrubs, their computers can't handle Black Desert. They're still using the stupid Pentiums they have from whatever, high school. So for them, they have to play a game like this. They just can't play the newer looking, nice looking games.
Does anyone know Tree of Savior they claimed a max level of 600 for a long time there, and somehow I don't think that's what we're getting at release. I mean, I'm also curious: are we going to be behind the Korean version of the game? I mean, open beta just started.
That goes without saying. The Korean version is always ahead.
During the betas, didn't they have like a 300 cap or something, or 200?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot lower than 600 though. I know that much.
Right, not exactly Tree of Savior related, but take a look at this picture. I feel like this very accurately describes our MMO experience at level 1.
This is the classic.
This was trending again on Twitter, even though it's so old.
It's such a great picture. It is old, but let's be real. Beating up those crabs or the slimes or whatever. And literally in Black Desert Online, we were beating up weasels. All right, we were killing.
Yeah, you gotta kill the weasels.
We were killing. I was grinding the weasels. Right.
The funnier pictures where it's next to the purple crabs. It's like level 20 to 39 or something.
It's a beautiful picture. Beautiful picture.
That's how I want to grind, with a stick. Plastics.
All right, we got a good video here. What is this? Battlerite. What is this?
That Battlerite is the guys who made Bloodline Champions and the guys that made Goat Simulator, who are, I still don't know why that is what they're going with, but they're also known for Sanctum. They're making a Team Arena brawler.
Can I just remember last week we were talking about studio names? This is a beautiful one. Stunlock Studios.
Yeah, that's the same studio.
I like that.
Yeah, it was just announced today, and it's apparently supposed to be the spiritual successor to Bloodline Champions, and that sounds good to me if it's actually popular this time.
Well, I was going to say,
Bloodline Champions
because it was such a rousing success last time,
Well, Bloodline Champions was freaking awesome. Seriously,
it had a bit of a high learning curve though, and the skill cap was very high, which is fine. The skill cap being high is fine, but it wasn't. I don't know. It never had. What was its peak player base? I don't know. It was very low.
Well, we can easily find out there.
I'll be right back.
I think it was. I don't know for sure, but it feels like part of it was Funcom's fault because it was originally published by Funcom, and it was one of, if not the only, third-party game that Funcom published.
Its all-time peak was 1,137 at one time.
That's rough.
But its overall average players never got beyond. It beat 100 for 2 months in a row, and that was about it.
Bloodline Champions was better than the Dead Island MOBA, undisputed.
Yeah, both games. I mean, is Bloodline Champions still around, right?
Yeah.
Dead Island MOBA shut down. Bloodline Champions still around. Clearly, Bloodline Champions is better, right? It survived.
The criteria.
It was the only MOBA, or at least the first MOBA, that took all the minions and stuff out of it. And it was just really a brawler. And it felt like a MOBA as well. It had a lot of the same elements.
Speaking of that criteria, Omer has officially admitted, because of that criteria, that Shakes and Fidget is the best game ever.
Well, it's a pretty terrible game in my opinion, but I admit it's a good game because it's successful, all right? But I don't like it, all right? So I don't like it. So in case you guys are wondering what Shakes and Fidget is, it's a game.
Look at him dancing around this.
Look, it's a game that launched on Steam relatively recently. It was a browser-based game and a mobile game, but they launched on Steam for whatever reason. It has over 5,000 concurrent players online, which is really a big number,
It has 6,831 players online.
But the game is literally, in my opinion, pretty Duke. And I say so because it's not a game. It's a waiting simulator. It's a browser game. You click on a button to go on a quest, and a 5-minute timer shows up. And it starts ticking down. 4:59, 4:58, it goes to 0. You gain this experience and this item. Go on another quest. Oh, this is a heroic quest. It takes 30 minutes. So 30-minute timer is going down. This 5-hour quest, and that's the whole game.
Hold
I
on.
wish check out you plays
Fidget?
Clicker Heroes.
Clicker Heroes is better. That's a solid game.
Yeah, no,
Shakes and
Clicker
Fidget.
Heroes is not a game. You click. That's all you do. Anyways, it has 20,000 people.
Clicker Heroes
All
is
you
good.
do is click.
It's more of a game than this, Duke.
It's more of a game than
That's
Shakes and Fidget.
debatable.
We should
Why?
point
No,
out
it's
that
not.
it is an old game,
There's no clicking in
as
this.
mentioned in chat. Shakes
least
and
you- at least
Fidget was
you click.
originally... Was it originally a browser game? Is that how it went?
Yeah.
Or what?
Yeah.
Okay. Did it ever get on mobile?
Yeah, it's on mobile as well.
Well, there you go. So it's just another mobile browser port to Steam. A beautiful thing.
Beautiful thing. They'll call that garbage
Alright, guys.
beautiful.
MMOs podcast theory crafting time. Are we
Please.
gonna see?
Ooh, fun times.
Are we gonna see a Steam or Valve ever make a phone
I think so.
with their own app store?
I think the Steam machine is going to get neglected, and they're never going to do hardware again.
Really? But what
Kind
about
of look
fun-
at where it's at now. I mean, it didn't take off immediately like they wanted it to. So, I mean, it was being hailed as like a revolution in gaming, and as everything is. And I'm just sitting there like, nope, this isn't going anywhere.
Well, it was never actually hardware. It was just a computer, like form factor, I guess, was the only.
Yeah, but it's like it was basically supposed to be the Steam console. That's why they did this, to make everybody like it's clear the end goal was to make everybody move to Steam OS, have
Yeah.
Steam on Steam OS. It's just it didn't work. So I think by the fact that it didn't work, they're not going to do hardware again.
I think their goals were more subtle. I think their goal, or their hope, one way or another, was to get everyone's GPU better. Get the average computer to have a better GPU.
Why would they do that?
So people can play their games, the games that are on Steam.
Why would Steam do that?
Because if the average
They-
computer,
but-
if the average computer that's being sold by Dell, by HP, right, can play the majority of games on Steam,
The sales will go
the
up.
sales will go
Yeah,
up.
of course.
I think this is reaching a little.
No, I think they just wanted to push companies to make
Well,
better hardware.
Another
Higher
example
end
for that is Google Fiber isn't really trying to make money. Google Fiber is trying to pressure local ISPs to up
Yeah.
their game and make the internet speeds faster. Google Fiber is
Yeah.
never meant to be nationwide. It's going to be in select markets, slow, niche, and their only reason is to create more competition to get higher speeds, which benefits Google because they own YouTube, they own all these web services.
It's working. A lot of towns across the country, especially ones I'm looking at, they all are starting to get municipal fiber. And
Yeah.
and those speeds are nice and
I remember
fast. So
in Vegas, Google's like, we might go to Vegas, and like the next day, our ISP emails us like, good news, we want to upgrade your thing for free. Here you go.
They tripled their internet speed for free. Triple.
Just because
They
Google said they
better.
might come.
We were paying for the highest package, was 50 megabits down. Now we get 300 megabits down for the
I
same.
got a bunch of upgrades too recently.
It's because thank you Google for.
But I will say Steam OS was a total flop.
oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so here's where your theory is completely kaput. Okay, so they upgrade the average graphics card, but it's on Linux, so they have even less options.
No, you can still run a graphics card on Linux.
No, but they have less options for games on Linux.
Okay, but a lot of games are. Isn't there more? Are there more games increasingly using Linux anyway?
no,
I'm pretty sure. Wasn't there a
well,
big push
more
by
than
Steam
there
to
were.
make them more
More-
compatible? And
Okay.
that
Yes.
was part of their
There
push to push Steam
But-
OS and the hardware.
Yeah, there are more Linux games than there were, but there are not anywhere near
Okay,
a lot.
well you're looking at it from in hindsight, right? I think Aaron's talking about like what was the original plan, and I think
was the intent. Yeah.
I have to agree. The intent was to make more games Linux compatible, to increase the overall power of the average GPU.
Well,
I mean,
I
it
think
didn't work. It didn't work.
I think
It's fine.
Steam could have. I think there were better ways to do that by people that weren't Valve. I think
Sure.
that Valve just wanted to have themselves everywhere, basically, and have all of their people on one combined area, or try to
Yeah.
make a move towards it.
Yeah.
That's what I think they wanted to do. Not anything to do with GPUs
No.
or.
With the hardware, it was GPUs. With the OS, I'll tell you what it was, and this I'm pretty fairly more certain of. The only purpose of the OS was when Windows 10 was announced and the Microsoft App Store was announced. Gabe shit his pants, his oversized pants. Okay, because he thought, oh shit,
Wow.
Microsoft is finally wising up, and if they just do what I do and just there's a button on Microsoft, you click it, games, and there's a million games right there. There's no Steam's dead in water. But luckily, for whatever reason, Microsoft didn't do that. Now, actually, there's new talk now of them doing it now. They're unifying the Xbox and Windows 10 store or something. But
there's a Windows Store already, but nobody uses it.
But imagine Windows says basically that's it. You got just like Apple. You have to download apps from our app store. Steam's dead.
If they do that, Steam has done so.
So they wanted a life raft with the OS, and
that's fair thinking.
And they didn't push the OS, right? They kind of gave up on it because Microsoft didn't lock themselves.
But that's also got nothing to do with the GPU.
Well, this is the OS explanation. The hardware is for the GPU. That's my theory. I mean, obviously, I don't know. I'm just rambling, but
I just don't think it makes any business sense to try and push up the average GPU.
Also, listen.
I think it does. What? For Steam?
Just like Google with the internet speed.
Because of the effort they
nothing.
have to put it. No, because of the effort they have to put into it.
What effort? They have like 5 guys talking about how the future is going to be Steam machines. They didn't do anything. They made like one prototype.
They had to make Steam OS,
which is just a
make
Linux
the
skin.
Steam machine.
It's a Linux skin. You can make it one day. One junior programmer can make that in one day. It's just skin for Linux.
It doesn't work very well.
I think you're very much underestimating the amount of effort it takes to modify an OS at the bottom.
At the bottom. I don't think it was at the bottom. They even they were using like what they said what distro they were using. It's just based on an existing distro.
Everything in Linux is based on an existing distro.
Let's move on, boys. Let's move on.
Do you know who I think? Just to say, I was thinking this the other day. Who do I think is actually going to make a mobile phone? I could see. What about Nintendo? Right? Why would a Nintendo make a mobile phone?
Steam has to make a mobile phone too, I think.
Amazon tried it. Have a mobile phone?
To try it. Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to call it the Valve failure. Who's going to buy one? We're just going to predict it right out of the box. We're just going to make sure that our prediction record is right.
Well, look, they give you the new N-Gage, all right? The gaming phone.
Yeah.
I was about to say they should make a gaming phone.
Why not? You know.
Eventually, sure.
Yeah, I think that more so than just like partnering with DENA, I think Nintendo is putting their feelers out into the mobile world and trying to get out of their closed nature that they've had in the past.
I don't think they'll succeed. They're too closed-minded.
Let's move on to some news here.
All right,
guys. Let's get out of the circle.
I got a game. Asta Online, boys. Asta Online.
Oh, tell us about Asta Online.
Someone's phone's ringing.
We got it.
But all right, it launched this week and
it's just N-Gage
already, and it leaves a lot to be desired. It's a game that's again, I went into it not expecting much. I did my video for it and I logged off, right? And I'm like, some guy kept telling me, all right, this game gets better. You're not giving it a fair shake. I'm like, all right, you know. So last night I logged back into Asta Online with the purpose of playing. All right, I had good intentions. I log on, I'm playing, and I'm like, what am I doing? This game is such a duke. It's like it could get better later, but if your early game just feels so generic, if they obviously were inspired by WoW, okay, they copied like the look and feel of WoW, but
isn't it basically WoW?
It's WoW of the East, guys.
It's got the look and feel of WoW, and that's really it.
So
but except not as good.
This looks like a generic.
Came out in 2013, right?
Asian shooter.
No, it stopped being updated in 2013.
Yeah, it came out earlier.
It's got. Oh
no,
yeah.
It stopped being updated in 2013.
It's it has this weird stat system I'll talk about briefly. It's like it had good intentions, but it was pretty. It didn't come out working well. Every level you can you get 5 stat points per level, right? But you can also spend in-game money on boosting your stats. You click a button and you get this random like gotcha thing. So this wheel spins and you get random stats. So every skill can be boosted. Every stat can be boosted up to a certain amount based on what level you are, based on how much money you pour into it. And it just feels silly because sometimes you gain when you spin the wheel, you gain stats and you lose stats sometimes. But at the end, it's you basically get the max stats anyway. So that system just didn't feel well thought out. Plus, there's this dual currency system. I hate when they do that. It's a tri-currency system actually. You have in-game gold, you have soul shards, and you got W coins. Just have 2 coins, all right? Get a cash app coins and regular money. That's it. But there's 3 coins, which makes it more confusing. But the gameplay itself is just uninspiring. Felt very generic, and I was the only one thinking so. Literally, there was nobody online.
Really?
I gotta say,
nothing. 0. Nobody online. I couldn't find one other player in game.
Holy shit!
Looking at it just from looking about it from the just watching a video. We got a drummer over here. It just looks super generic. It looks like everything I've seen already. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna go ahead and call it. They are not gonna be successful in the West.
I'll call it too.
And bringing it over here was probably a waste of resources. But I mean, I could mistake this for a dozen other games.
Yeah,
it doesn't stand out to me at all. There's nothing. This will be forgotten as a mistake.
On top of that, it had it runs Game Guard. It's unoptimized. My game crashed like 3 times trying to launch it for some reason.
Oh God, Game Guard.
Yeah.
Don't Blade and Soul and Phantasy Star Online 2 still use Game Guard?
Probably.
I had the same issue with Blade and Soul, but this game it just felt unoptimized and it crashed a couple times for me too. And again, everything from the art style to the look and feel of the game is a clone of WoW, a copy of WoW. But they couldn't even copy it well because even older games copied WoW better. I would say even Runes of Magic copied WoW better, or even what's that game?
This looks slightly worse, or maybe slightly better than 4-Story or Gates of Enderon.
Yeah, maybe. Graphically, it looks slightly better than those.
Isn't
But not much.
CryEngine?
The UI looks like
it's
this is CryEngine, but it doesn't feel like CryEngine.
It doesn't look like CryEngine at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, we'll put this one in the graveyard soon.
Probably.
Yes.
It's not looking good for Asta, in my opinion.
Well, in other news, in news for a successful game, The Division did launch. I don't know if any of us are going to be playing it.
Nope.
Has
I think
anyone here tried it out yet?
I think it's a little unfair to call it successful just yet.
Really? I'm sure it sold a shit ton.
Yeah, I'm sure it sold a shit ton too. Are there tons of people in queue waiting to log in because Ubisoft didn't prepare for their launch like no one else does? So,
Yep.
I imagine it will be successful in terms of upfront costs. I'll tell you what it will do better. That'll do better than Star Wars Battlefront, I think. But
Yeah,
whether or not it has long-term success, I couldn't tell you. Remember their whole marketing thing has been we're going to be the next Destiny, or we're going to be better than Destiny. I don't know if that's the case either. Destiny has set quite a high standard.
Well, I wouldn't say that necessarily. Like, how is Division's endgame? Because in Destiny, the endgame was basically like, I can't remember. I think a few raids and like queued up arena PvP. That was it.
I think our topic next week is going to be how much I hate the word endgame. But I have no idea what endgame is in the Division. I think it's raiding in a certain zone in the game. I played it and it just felt very detailed but generic. So
the reason I asked that is just because so Destiny had your typical console game like storyline area, but it only lasted like 20 or 30 hours, and then it was just a few raids and queued PvP. So it was basically every other shooter with a leveling system and a few raids at the end, if I remember correctly.
I want to read out one review on Steam, which I thought was pretty funny. I mean, towards the end of the review, he says, and it got mixed reviews on Steam, by the way. It's a 6 out of 10 right now. So, it could be because they had issues with the launch and stuff, too. But the enemies are quite dumb. It would be an insult to call it AI. They act out predetermined patterns, and seeing the same behavior a few hours in the game is to be expected. Also, the nice part, where the random generic thug runs with his baseball bat against a 4-man rifle squad.
Oh, yeah, they do that. Yeah, I completely agree with that statement.
It's like, I can take him. I got this baseball bat. They got 4 guns. Time to juke. Easy kills, boys. And then, no, he just died. The AI is apparently very stupid.
You guys are complaining about my typing.
Yeah, you guys stop typing.
I was just telling Sean that he links the worst videos. Like, I was with The Division. It was like some ad almost with like some guy spray painting the wall, like real life actors. Like, it was no gameplay.
No, they had so that was something they announced today. That is the company that did the in-game graffiti went to London Shoreditch goddamn, the wall where they put graffiti, and they did a big graffiti mural for The Division, like taking the skyline of New York to London or whatever, and it was only up for a few hours because that's how that thing works. The Shoreditch art wall, that's it.
I have no idea what that is.
Huh. I don't know what that is either, but I guess it's pretty neat.
It was basically an advertising thing, but the company that did the in-game graffiti also did real-life graffiti for that.
Nice. So somebody asked what the Division was. It's just an online shooting MMO, I guess you could call it.
A third-person shooting MMO in a post-apocalyptic New York where you complete quests to upgrade your gear. And
Destiny crossed with Gears of War. Done.
There you go.
I can't help but think Borderlands 2. I said that in the last podcast when we first discussed it, just with the way that items work. You know, you see the big green glow shooting up into the sky, you collect your item, and you upgrade your stuff. So it has a lot of RPG elements, which I found surprising. I thought it was trying to be like DayZ, but I guess something like DayZ is not going to appeal to, a general audience. So they went with a more like it has this serious presentation, and then when you play it, it's very arcadey, if that makes sense.
Does anyone know how partying works? Do you know, Sean?
I'm not entirely sure. I know you can party with your friends. I imagine it's groups of 4, but I'm not. Again, I didn't play it enough. Black Desert was out that weekend, and it just doesn't have that. It's not the game that I would put the effort into. So
I was more wondering,
sure.
when you party in that game, is it just like more like, just a firing squad? Like you just like stand there and just unload on like this one dude, or is it like everyone has their own like kind of role in the?
No. I don't think so. I think that the game it does not stress tactical elements. It's not Vegas, Rainbow Vegas 6 or something like that. It's definitely more. It's definitely more run and gun and just get the shots. And you have skills too. You have like 2 abilities that you can activate as you play. So it's more RPG. Mow down the enemies and move on to the next thing. Mow down the AI on a conveyor belt.
I think it's a little weird that they attached Tom Clancy to it.
Yeah, because isn't it like mostly tactical games? Isn't that like what the series is known for?
Well, Tom Clancy games are based on Tom Clancy novels traditionally.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they have a Division novel, but this it feels outside of his normal scope.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here's my prediction. They're going to keep slapping Tom Clancy's name on everything long after he's dead just to try and sell a product.
Is he already dead?
Is Tom Clancy dead? I really don't know.
I can't remember. I think I've heard he's dead.
He's dead.
I think
he's dead.
Right,
yeah.
He's done.
There you go. They're already doing it then.
Is he Dunzo?
He's Dunzo.
Oh damn, he's Dunzo.
Yeah.
Oh, dude! If you look, if you Google Tom Clancy, that's like exactly what I expected Tom Clancy to look like.
I think Shabra have a good point. This game, I think this last few weeks been pretty busy for games. I mean, Black Desert launched. We've all been playing that, but I've also, playing the Culling with Shio. He streamed last night and the night before that. It's a lot of fun. We did a Sunday Funday video for it too, and the game picks up a lot more after you play it a little bit more. But there's a lot of games to play. It's rough being a gamer right now. I'm playing Stardew Valley, Black Desert Online, and the Culling, and I have a decent amount of hours into all of them.
I'm sorry, did you just say it's rough because you have options?
Right? I have all these games I want to play, and I have to divide my time. Life is rough,
I mean, if
dude.
you think about it, like just like
Oh,
not
I'm
too
done
long
with
ago,
this.
it was like
I'm kidding on the Life is Rough part, but it's I'm dividing my time between all 3, so I can't commit to any one game as hard yet because I'm playing all 3.
it's rough in a good
Just
way,
pick
right?
one.
Yeah, I can't. I gotta get my Abigail waifu in Stardew Valley. The Culling is fun. I gotta grind in BDO. I gotta catch up. There's a lot on the plate.
How's Culling after like dozens of games? Like because the map doesn't change, right?
No, it's still fun because we played at least
Dude,
dozens of games. But
I play it so much, dude. I've played it so much.
Did you like memorize like
grinding
the
a lot.
the places where there's like 20 items, like the rooms, like the
I'm starting to learn it. The loot is randomized, but you can go to certain spots like for just more chests, pretty much. But it's really fun, and the thing is there's so many ways you can play the game, which is why I really like it. Like, if you start the game, you only start with like 3 classes, but there's a surprise me box, and then if you use that box, you can unlock more of them.
I have a question. Does it have open mic like Rust and stuff?
No, that's like the
No.
one thing that's kind of sad about
it
it.
needs that. So you can make like temporary alliances.
Dude, so you can be like, get wrecked, scrub, or like
don't
you
kill
can
me,
say
let's
like,
work
please
together."
spare me.
Yeah.
I'm not worth it. I just spawned. I only have my rock.
it does need open mic, but it doesn't have it.
I am disappointed by the lack of open mic. I think it takes away a lot of like
It's like-
spontaneous interactions. You can't say, "Hey man, let's group up together," and then stab them in the back, or you can't sneak up on 2 people talking and I also shoot. Okay, so you've played a lot. Can you use footsteps to determine where people are?
Yes.
Yes and no.
You can. Because I felt like footsteps were, like in other games you use footsteps to figure out, what direction someone's coming from, and then you can kill them. But in that game, like I struggled to pinpoint where someone was just by listening.
There is a stealth feat that you can take where you can't hear them. That's probably what happened to you.
Well, no. What I mean is I would hear their footsteps, but I couldn't tell where it was coming from. It didn't feel like there was a difference.
Like the directional?
It didn't feel like there was a difference whether they were walking on the ground or on the roof. It was just the same sound.
That one you can hear like where. I believe you can hear what they're walking on, but the issue that I found is that the directional is like kind of lagged. So like, for example, like one issue I keep having is there's like these skeleton spawns, right? And you pick them up to get money.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they would spawn in like all these, like in the middle of all these brush, and like I can't find it, right? With the directional sound. That's like the issue I had with that. But you can.
Money, Shu. It's funk. Get it right. Come on.
It's funk.
Yeah.
You need the funk.
But I think you can hear them on different. I mean, damn. For some reason, I can't like 100% say in my memory.
You can, but I think it's not fully optimized yet. A lot of things in the game aren't optimized yet, so that could be one of the issues. The game doesn't run as fluid as it should either. But
my bar standard for like 3D directional sound is the Hunter, and I definitely was not able to pick up directional stuff in the Culling anywhere near as easily as the Hunter.
Yeah, it's rough. Like, I mean, I don't think it's like completely terrible in the PvP sense, but like, trying to pinpoint where something is and like, buried underneath grass, it's really rough.
Well, I know we're all excited about Overwatch, right? So have you guys been following?
I'll try it out, yeah.
Not really.
Well, fine. All right. This internet is excited about it, all right?
I followed when people decided that when an ad shows up at like midnight on the day they're going to announce that it's going to be released, that suddenly it's a rumor and they don't wait until 8 a.m. for them to put the press release out.
Yeah.
Have you guys
heard? Coming out May 24th.
All right, but there's another shooting game like in development. It kind of looks similar. Battleborn. Have you guys heard of that?
Yeah. I actually like the way Battleborn looks a lot.
Isn't Battleborn more of... What is Battleborn? I haven't followed it, damn.
It's kind of like a shooter/MOBA-y kind of game.
Oh, I thought it was more like co-op 4-player crap.
Battleborn is very ambitious. It's touting a campaign, 25 heroes, persistent progression, and 3 multiplayer modes. So it's not just an arena shooter like Overwatch. They're trying to make a fully fleshed out MOBA game.
Yeah.
And the single player, the fact that they're trying to do a campaign at all, I thought was interesting because most games now are just nix the single player or co-op campaign and just do the multiplayer arena. So I have a feeling that may be dropped ultimately. Mm-hmm. But it has a really cool art style. It reminds me, again, I keep bringing it up. It reminds me of what's Microsoft's game? Gigantic or Borderlands 2. It's very flashy.
It's
very
by the company that makes Borderlands.
Oh, it's by Gearbox?
Here's my thing though. It's Gearbox and it's not Borderlands. I have to wait and see what the launch reviews are going to be like because they've basically put minimal effort into everything else.
The thing is,
what else have they made?
They bought out Duke Nukem Forever and put it out in like the shoddiest state I've ever seen a game in.
But at least it launched. At least it launched. Give them credit. They launched it, all right?
And I mean, Homeworld Remastered looks nice and all, but I don't know. It feels like a minimal effort thing other than the graphics upgrade.
This game will cost more than Borderlands 1 and 2 combined. That's what they said. So if this doesn't do well, I think the studio's going to get tanked.
Okay, so maybe they are trying to be serious.
Yeah, it's a bigger investment than those other two combined.
Oh, interesting, we haven't really heard news about this since October. I mean, I really haven't seen anything. So they've been pretty quiet. And I'm just curious, the last test they had an NDA, so...
Actually, I don't know if I can switch topics there, but I wanted to know, how do you guys feel about companies being loud or being quiet? Like, what do you think is better, and when do you think it's better?
All right, it's very important. One thing they have to they can be quiet about the development, right? But they have to publish some news at least once a week on their homepage, so we can see they're around. I don't care if it's like useless
I think
news.
so too. Yeah.
It could be like about their lore. It could be about like some office politics, some office drama. I don't care. Have an update once a week, just telling people, hey, we're doing this, we're doing that. If you go months at a time, you can't like. I expect the game to be dead if they haven't said anything in months. But game companies do that all the time.
Yeah, I do want to say Battleborn does have news on their site. They did update just on the 3rd there, so it is. They are still they're still chugging along.
Well, I think the thing is, and I've read articles about people talking about it. The way that game development cycles, there are a lot of, like, you'll release a bunch of news and you'll get people really excited about it, and then you'll go quiet while you go into deep dev and you're not really releasing a whole lot. So there'll be a lot of quiet segments, and then you'll come back and you'll renew interest when you have something big, and then you'll go back into quiet phases, and it's a weird cycle, but I have read that that's kind of just normal for big studios.
You know who does it really well, or they did? When Rust, when they decided to remake Rust, they put out an update every single week. And I thought it was really nice. You knew a day was going to come out, everyone in the company said what they were working on, and you really felt like, okay, they're not screwing me over, they are putting work in. And I thought it was really nice the way they did it. So
I think you need that nowadays. You need that nowadays.
So how crowded is this market going to be? This kind of stylish shooter. We got Overwatch.
Yeah, you're right.
It's going to be the big boy. We got
Overwatch.
Paladins. We got
Paladins.
Gigantic, which is already dead, I think.
Gigantic is more like a MOBA than an arena shooter.
Whatever, same style though. Like
It's still like got the shooter type elements.
Lawbreakers, which we haven't heard about.
It's even more of a.
There's melee in Overwatch though.
But it's even more of an action game than Smite. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, it is.
So there's so many of these games. It seems like they all jumped in the same boat at the same time.
What about Lawbreakers?
Lawbreakers.
Yeah, Lawbreakers isn't one. It's more of a traditional FPS.
It looks actiony.
But what I was gonna say is I think it's gonna be more. It's gonna be like MOBAs where a lot of them come out at once and they're gonna thin the herd slowly, and it's gonna go down to like 2 or 3 that are really really popular, and the rest are gonna either just kind of cruise along with a low player base or they're gonna shut down.
Yeah.
Who's gonna buy Overwatch? What do you guys? You guys gonna buy Overwatch in here? Anyone excited?
Occupy now.
I'm gonna pre-order.
I'm probably gonna buy it too. It's a Blizzard game. It's a shooter. It's accessible. Why not?
How's a good
this is why Blizzard can sell anything. But anyways, I have not opened Paladins in a few weeks, so I don't know if I'm actually going to be interested in Overwatch. They're very similar now that they have that similar game mode going on, so I'm not honestly sure if I'm going to have any interest in Overwatch. We'll see when it hits open beta in May.
All right.
I'm pretty interested in Overwatch just based on the roster. I feel like they have a good balance of characters. Makes me want to play it.
They'll be launched for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. So the trifecta there, everything at once. What was the retail price anyway? It wasn't full $60, right? It was like 30 or 40.
Overwatch, I'm pretty sure it's 60.
Oh god, I thought it was gonna be cheaper than that. I guess I'm spoiled by Black Desert. I'm spoiled by Black Desert's nice entry fee of like $30. I think if a game that's buy to play, it launches with like, if it's not 60, I can swallow 20 or 30. 60, it's like I haven't bought Division yet because it's 60. I'm gonna wait.
Oh, it's 60 on consoles. Okay.
Yeah, it's 60.
Overall, or just on consoles?
Well, it's got a base price
actually,
on PC.
40 on PC.
Oh yeah. I was looking at the Origins edition, I guess. Where? Oh yeah, 39.
All right. That makes it more tolerable. You know, it's more palatable.
The special edition is $59.99, and then the collector's edition doesn't say.
All right, the big
collector's
news of the week,
edition
guys.
You have to inquire for.
Yeah.
Guys, the big news of the week, guys. Guns, the Duel is coming back.
All right,
what?
Who's picking it up? Who's picking it up?
Okay, so some companies.
Is this Super Games?
No, in Korea.
No, guys, it's the same company that is developing Guns 2 right now.
Oh, Mensang Soft, right?
Yep, they're releasing the CB1 just ended in Korea successfully, so it's gonna be in Korea first, and there's no word on a Western release yet, but you never know.
I'm excited. That's good.
It's good.
They're also doing something else. Oh, right. I think they developed World of Fishing.
It's I think this game shows like there's still a demand because so many people have such bad computers. That's what it comes down to. That's it. Some people can't play these like Overwatch, Black Desert, whatever.
I'm sure it's more just they're bringing back the prequel to the sequel.
Well, yeah, why not? It'll be more popular.
They bought the Guns franchise and they're just bringing it back. You know,
it costs them nothing. I mean, they got the stuff already. You know, I can't imagine it costs them anything to really launch that.
All right, so who's gonna play this?
I'll play it.
All right, we'll do a Sunday fun day, so you have to play.
We'll do a Sunday fun day. We'll do a Sunday fun day. You have to play it.
By today's standards, it is so janky.
Yeah.
Oh, 100% janky, but you played it for the jank, all right? The jank was a part of the experience.
I've never played a game for the jank.
No, the jank in Guns has felt like, as long as not the laggy part, because a lot of it had a big ping issue.
Do you think they'll fix it?
Guys, it's like,
probably not.
Oh, of course not.
Guys, it's like shitty Chinese food. It's like different from real Chinese food, right? It's different from real Chinese food, but it's sometimes you're just like, man, I want that shitty Chinese food, you know? That shitty steam table Chinese food.
No, I always want the good Chinese food. I always go to the
Matt,
good
how do you
Chinese
know it's good Chinese food unless you've had the shitty Chinese food, all right? It's good in relation. You gotta eat the shit to enjoy the good stuff.
No, you don't.
Yes.
No, you can. I'm not going there. It's like you can play war mode and you know immediately that it's shit.
Yes, but in order to appreciate Counter-Strike more, you can play war mode.
Yeah, but to appreciate it more, but I don't have to play Counter-Strike to know that war mode sucks.
Okay, but yeah, that's true, but still, war mode's got like an odd flair to it, like a shitty flair that makes it like somewhat appealing in short bursts. I think I have 15 hours on war mode,
I think you have just randomly attached yourself to one shitty game and you're decided that it has some flair that it doesn't have.
Matt, I have played so many shitty games, but war mode caught my eye, alright?
Speaking of shitty
shooters, I thought it was shitty, and then I kept playing it.
No, it is shitty.
And then it's still shitty.
It is shitty.
Okay, I agree. It's shitty. There's no doubt. But I have 14 hours clocked in, and I'm enjoying it. It's shit, but I enjoy it.
You know why you're enjoying it?
And that's okay, but it's still shit.
Okay, here's why you're enjoying it. One.
Tell me.
Enlighten
me.
Okay, the first and only reason you need is it's accessible. You click, it opens. It's like 10 MB or whatever, right?
It doesn't take 90 seconds.
Like The Division, right? I don't know what I gotta do to start playing it, but I know it's gonna be an hour before I'm actually playing it.
Oh,
right?
Definitely. You buy the game, you won't be in for an hour, at least.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna buy it for that reason.
I'm not going there with that logic.
Listen, I'm the everyman, all right? This is the way the everyman thinks. You gotta cater to my shitty needs, all right? Sean, I think
it helps for a game to be accessible.
Wait, can you guys hear Sean?
You gotta eat shit, Omer 2016. Listen, if you don't have the shitty games, the good games don't mean anything, all right? You have to wade through the shit to get to the good, which is why we need games like Asta. That's why we need games like these Cardbound Hero. We need games like there's so not to bash on Cardbound Hero. It was actually a little bit different, but still, you need a lot of the shitty games to like the good games. They pave the way, because everything's relative, isn't it? I feel like everything is relative. If all the games are shit and there's one good game, there's a good game.
What we need is accessibility. That's what we need.
Accessibility helps. That's why a lot of these Russian games do well.
Yeah.
Like Golden Rush was like a 200 megabyte game. War Mode is 200 megabytes. How do these Russians figure this out?
Sean, can you hear us over there?
Yeah, I was muted. I muted myself. I was laughing, and then I pressed my little whatever the hell this is into the mic, and
honestly, I recommend you just get rid of that thing.
I'm going to. Yeah. I am now.
I did. That's what I did.
It's got its death sense.
Shots fired.
All right, now that I'm back. Let's get. Omer did not bring this up in his news video because it happened in the moment.
Yep.
But Fable Legends is no mas. It's gone. No more.
That's it.
It's being shut down. Microsoft Studios made the decision to cancel. Why? Because they're going to focus development on other games. What other games? I have no idea. And following the shutdown or the cancellation of Fable Legends, Lionhead Studios' future is currently up in the air. I have no idea if they're going to exist.
I think more news came out. They're gone.
Oh, they're gone.
They're gone. They're donezo.
Wow.
Well,
they made it very clear, like that press play was done, and then they made it very clear that Lionhead was probably done, but they tried to make it sound like, oh, we might save your favorite childhood studio that made Black and White and the first Fable, but they really weren't going to.
No.
I like how you said the first Fable because that's exactly how it goes. It's just the first Fable. Yeah,
Well,
this
Fable
game.
2, Fable 2 wasn't terrible, but it's discussion for another time.
So if you want to know what this game was, because this is the last time you'll hear about it, it was basically a 4-person co-op adventure game where a 5th person played a villain, and they would spawn units and puzzles and stuff as the co-op team of 4 players would go through the dungeon. And that way, I think it was trying to be similar to Sword Coast Legends, which was a D&D game that's on Steam, and it's kind of been met with mixed reviews. I think the problem was they were trying to play with mechanics that haven't been done before, and they were in over their head instead of just making a co-op Fable game, which they probably should have just done that. So I guess on paper it was interesting, and I guess the application was much harder. And so hopefully, maybe this means Microsoft's going to throw some resources.
Okay, my opinion on this is that Fable never needed a sequel to begin with. They should have moved on to another franchise. They just completely butchered the series.
Oh,
it's not about if they need they need a sequel. It's about the game sold well. Let's make money.
After the
that's
third
exactly
one,
what it is.
After the third one and their weird ass like King thing, they moved on to the whole spin-offs with The Journey, and now they're doing Legends. And I think the spin-offs just never really stood a chance because they were uninspired kind of to begin with.
Let me just say, I didn't play anything but the first Fable, but I will say that the first Fable was a fantastic game and one of my favorite games at the time of its release. I thought it was so good, and I didn't play any of the other ones because they didn't look like that first Fable. You know what? They could have made sequels, Matt, but just make the same damn game, repackage it. That's all they had to do. They didn't need to try new things.
The other thing is, I think they really missed out on the whole remaster era. Like, they hit it right at the end of the Xbox 360's life cycle. They should have moved it to the next gen.
Well, it's moot now. Studio's dead. I never got into Fable. Don't care. Don't feel like I missed anything.
Erhan, the everyday man, doesn't give a shit.
The everyday man.
Move on.
Speaking of dead studios, because for some reason I like talking about dead studios. I like reading about it.
You're very morbid. You like the morose.
You like hearing that all those shitty games that aren't 100 megabytes got shut down.
Yes. Actually,
Stardew Valley is only 400 megabytes. That's why it's really good, all right?
Honestly, I enjoy when old games get shut down. Because, like, we need to clear the field. You know, sometimes you need a forest fire for regrowth, you know?
Who are you crucifying today? Who's getting shut down? Come on, Jude.
It's like a supervillain motivation. We must destroy the world and rebuild it anew.
Yes, Sega closed down 3 Ring Studios recently.
Oh, whoa. They make Puzzle Pirates.
Yeah.
What?
And Spiral Knights.
Really? Erhan's cackling over there.
I'm so happy.
No.
Puzzle Pirates was
Pirates popular.
It was such a shitty game.
Puzzle Pirates getting shut down?
No way.
Puzzle Pirates was great. You are a heretic.
You'll make a call of Suba Games.
Suba Games.
Suba Games the Necromancer.
So
Puzzle
Pirates is dead then?
It's not dead yet. I checked, but it says Sega Networks cuts staff amid hyper-competitive market conditions. It says Sega purchased 3 Rings back in 2011. And it says that they're going to shut it down. Today.
They're going to shut it down. It says.
Sega Networks.
Today. They're pulling the plug.
Yeah.
Wow.
Google it. Just double check.
Puzzle Pirates? Please.
Yeah.
So that's the
you
only
know how I knew they were going to shut down? You know, here's a good sign of companies going to shut down, all right?
Oh,
you go on the official website. So go to puzzlepirates.com right now. Look at the bottom. Copyright 2001 to 2015. They didn't even update that yet. It should be 2016.
If you update the CSS, it's it.
Well, really, they should just put a little thing in JavaScript that updates that.
Yeah, PHP does that too. Just PHP the date or the year, and then boom. As I say that, MMOs.com it says 2016, but I do it manually, all right?
Damn.
Every year I update
Get
it one
with the times, man. You program
it's one line
everything.
of code. I really should just put it there, but still.
They also made Spiral Knights and some other game, right? 3 Rings?
Spiral Knights was actually really popular for a while. It surprised me. Because I thought it was boring.
Oh, it sucked, but it was one of the first free games on Steam. That's why it did well.
It is still averaging 400 players right now. It's still averaging 400. Considering it's so fucking repetitive. It is really good.
Let me ask, what the hell is Sega doing these days?
They're making what do they call slot machines in Japan. Yeah.
That's where the money's at.
That's where the money's at. Pachinko.
Yeah, they make pachinko machines in Japan. Everything else they do, they lose money.
This is Konami. That's where the money's at. Pachinko machines and slot machines.
And you do 3 Solid Snake heads in a row, you win.
Dude, they should make a match 3 game like that, all right? With the Metal Gear
Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, they'll make money.
And they do the radio call every time you win. Snake, snake. I'd play that. They really got nothing. I mean, I'm just looking at their website, and what they're showing off on the front page. It's like Yakuza 5. Total. Are they publishing that Warhammer game that's coming out? The one that's supposed to be a dynamic third-person shooter? Am I wrong in thinking that? Because that seems like the only thing they're doing.
No, Matt, you gotta order like a $5 mic or keyboard.
All right. Well,
Says the guy that was typing like a madman, like earlier.
All right. So somebody mentioned Sega, and that reminds me of I'm not sure why, the PS3 emulator. There's news on the PS3 emulator, guys, and it's not exactly MMO related, but we're a broad podcast. So there's a video came out showing one game being played, the game called GeForce on here looks like being played on the PS3 emulator, and it's playable.
I like how the game they get to work is based on a movie game. It looks really good though. It looks really good.
Yeah, and before this, any other game ran at like 1 FPS and it was unplayable nonsense, right? So there's progress being made on the PS3 emulator front. So I'm glad about that. Yeah,
I love emulators. I can't wait to use the PS3 emulator. I mean, I also, of course, I own all the games. So
of course, we would never play a game.
No.
No, I have a Blu-ray drive. I'm just gonna stick the fucking discs in there and play them with anti-aliasing when it finally comes out. Like, damn, because our TV, I've finally started using HDMI with the PS3, and there are jaggies everywhere. It's unbearable.
Really?
Yeah, I played DMC on the PS3, and it's like every edge is like somebody took a serrated knife and went down it.
It is really funny that it's GeForce of all games. Like, this is the last game I feel anyone's gonna play, but I guess it does work, so whatever.
I guess technically it was the easiest one to get working.
For whatever reason, I guess the game just worked. If you look at the other emulators, other playable stuff on there, there's a Sonic game. That's why we talk about Sonic. It reminded me. It runs at like half an FPS and it's awful and playable.
Are you talking about Sonic 2006?
I don't know. It's like a retro Sonic game. I feel like it's like one of those bundle games.
Or 2008, whatever. I can't remember.
Probably that, yeah. But yeah, PS3 emulation making progress. Solid for the gaming world.
Which, yeah, I know you guys are like, it's weird that it's that game is the only one that works, but in reality, there's still SNES games, certain ones that have edge cases that don't work at all.
Really? On the emulator?
Yeah.
Today I learned. There's almost every game I've had that just worked.
Do you know one?
Not off the top of my head, but I remember a lot of Japanese, never imported ones didn't work very well.
Guys, bold idea. Sonic MMO.
Yeah, bold, terrible idea.
That's terrible.
Sonic,
Oh my god.
Sonic,
create your own.
tactical FPS.
You know what's interesting though is that people would play it because Sonic does have an almost cult following. People just love Sonic.
Sonic ruins all of the things I love.
I heard
It.
I heard that a good Sonic game came out recently though, like
Lost World?
Donkey said it was good, so I believe him.
Lost World is not that
Unless
good.
he was trolling.
Lost World is not that good. But anyways, the only good thing about Sonic these days, the only good thing about Sonic these days, the Twitter account.
There's a Twitter account for Sonic?
There's a Sonic Twitter. Today
The official Sonic Twitter, like a few years ago, somebody took over the Twitter account, and they have been like making fun of everyone. And it is fucking hilarious. And it's the official Sega Twitter.
I like it. Good use of social media, Sega. They're on point.
Like, let me go find it.
Like, Sonic is not really real. I mean, they should make a free-to-play Sonic phone game. I bet they already have one. So I'm gonna check right now. I bet they have one. They should make a match 3 game while they're at it. Why not? That's where the money's at.
You know what was a good Sonic game? Sonic Pinball.
Oh,
You haven't played that?
I have not played that.
That was a
I
good
can't
game.
play 20 pinball games.
There's Sonic Dash for the Android.
Did you guys ever watch a Sonic cartoon?
Yes.
Yes.
That was good. I enjoyed that.
It was good. Yeah, it was good when I was 6.
The chili dogs. He ate the chili dogs. That always made me want to eat chili dogs
Look at
afterwards.
this. Look at this Sonic. Sonic ruins everything I love. Just ruins it. Just destroys everything.
You know what? I love the like the fan made Sonics, like Dark Sonic XXX. He'll eat your heart and eat cake. I don't know, you guys. Well, what is this? It's
What?
anime Sonic.
I didn't know there's an
It's
anime.
fucking Pretty Cure, which is like my favorite anime, and they fucking ruined it with Sonic.
You mean enhance it?
Dude, this whoever this motherfucker is, he does it every
Motherfucker.
season. Every season of Pretty Cure is a fucking Sonic the Hedgehog of it, and stop.
This is some pretty deep anime. I gotta get out of here.
I guarantee there's Rule 34 of Sonic
Like
out
go back.
You don't
I'm
even
kinda
need
curi-
to guarantee it.
I'm
We all
kind of
believe you.
curious. I'm
That's
honestly
the town
curious
that you
now.
belong.
It's clear.
I'm genuinely curious. I might go take a look out of curiosity. Just
Let's
a peek.
save that for the after show.
After show material, but you guys
Speaking
don't
of
get
after
curious.
show, we can probably start wrapping this up. Any final thoughts?
What's
Final
everyone?
thoughts?
I got one. I wanted to cover one. So Yahoo is making an esports
Oh yeah.
site. I thought that was so random.
Yo, Yahoo Esports is
Yo.
going to
Yeah, well,
yeah.
okay, I don't think this is going to go well, and I don't think this is going to go well for one reason, and one reason only.
It's
They
Yahoo?
bought out they bought the rights to the show Community, right? They ran it for one season, and then they couldn't do any more because they couldn't afford the actors. So I don't think they're going to have enough money to compete.
Isn't Yahoo
with
shutting
bigger
down? Aren't they
esports
like selling
channels.
themselves?
Yeah, they're basically trying to sell all their assets there. So they're basically Yahoo is very, very irrelevant
Okay,
nowadays.
so then they're making an esports portal to have another asset to sell.
Yes, there you go. That's really what it comes down to. Because I don't know, that's nothing.
When I think you cut the cutting edge of esports, I think Yahoo.
When I
They
think
have
of-
Tumblr, too. They have
ESPN will fare
Tumblr.
better.
no, come on. When I think of the cutting edge of esports, I think of Twitter gaming.
There you go. There's that too. Yeah, they got Tumblr, right? I feel like the Tumblr society, people that use Tumblr like a whole another world. That's where is that like where all that feminism stuff came from and all that nonsense?
That's
No,
after-
feminism was
Oh.
hijacked back in the 90s.
Don't you know feminism wasn't a thing until Tumblr came around? Duh.
Yeah, obviously, no. You know what I'm saying with like this modern
No.
feminism. this,
No, we're not starting this argument. No.
It's not really an argument.
The
No,
Twitter.
No,
I'm
not
calling
this discussion. We're not starting this discussion. No.
I'm gonna end this.
End
I'll
it
end the
here.
discussion one
End it
sentence.
here.
I'm ending it. Tumblr is a cesspool of all that social justice nonsense. all
It's
right?
just a blog for like girls. I think.
Please just stop. Just stop.
We
Just,
get
I got
tagged
one
as
last thing to
disgusting
say.
lawyers.
Wait,
I
why
like
are we
Tumblr.
stopping it?
I got all my art
Because
on Tumblr.
that opens up a huge can of worms that you don't want to open up and still going on. Just
I
stop.
love cans of worms, but I love Tumblr for art. Actually, MMOs.com has a Tumblr, and I
I've
just
never
saw a whole
used
bunch
Tumblr.
of.
Wait. Since when was MMOs.com scared? Like, are we gonna? Are we
Watch
gonna
out,
I
like,
just don't want to.
We can
No,
save it for
I
after
don't want
show.
to talk about.
That's after show stuff because it's so unrelated. to
After show stuff. Okay.
Alright.
To wrap it up, Yahoo Esports is probably going to fail. ESPN will do okay. And I think most people are just going to go to Twitch and watch esports that way. And you can go to MMOs.com to get the wrap up each week. So
How about MLG?
That-
How's Activision gonna do with MLG?
I think
that's
they're
a
going to do
question.
good because they. Well, isn't Call of Duty huge in MLG? So I mean, they just.
Yeah, I
It
think
works.
MLG will do okay internally.
I think it's
for-
going
Yeah.
to do well.
Sure.
Sure.
But Yahoo Sports.
I think, Aaron, you said it a while ago, is that each of these companies is going to, or maybe it was someone else, but each of these companies seems to, they're all trying to pave their own esports path
Yeah.
with their
Their own
games. I mean,
platform.
High Res is famous for it, and Activision Blizzard
Yeah.
now, so
And
that's the way it seems to go. You're not
Yeah.
going to have like an MLB or an NFL. You're
No.
going to have all these
Yeah.
different.
like Riot Games
companies.
does it themselves. Dota's Steam is doing it themselves now for Dota this year.
Which is pretty. I'd rather see that anyway. I don't want to
Yeah.
see one collective. You don't need it in today's age. You don't need an
No.
MLB or something like that.
I feel like TV in general is falling
TV's
behind. too.
dead.
Like, let's be real. We watch Twitch
Well-
and we watch the channels we want to watch on there.
You can't have one league anyways because like when you're talking about NFL and MLB and stuff like that, you've got one sport that all the people in
yeah.
the nation are playing, and they're in terms of gaming, there are like dozens of different sports.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think that's exactly why it doesn't work that way. Someone did ask, Yushin did ask for me to mention the weekly raid from last week. It was fairly popular. I didn't mention it just because we jumped right in, and this one wasn't really a conversation. Basically, we asked everyone, what they would call their gaming company. I think Omer and I at least agreed that Ladies with Dongers was
A+.
A winner. A+. Ladies, it was LWD Gaming by El Razo here. Ladies with Dongs, I thought was pretty good. And I also liked, Indra had a good one for a cyberpunk futuristic RPG game studio, Hero.exe, which I thought was creative.
Oh, .exe is pretty good.
.exe is good.
That was creative.
A lot of things with .exe would be good.
That's awesome.
I thought I think everyone had a good one. I liked Sexy Stallion,
That sounds too like Rocky-esque, because when I think Stallion, I think Rocky.
I think myself. Right?
Oh yeah, you're a Stallion?
What a stud.
I'm a Stallion, yeah. So we had a lot of good creativity going on here. Some of them sounded pretty legit, like Forge Studios.
Oh, Big D Studios. I like that.
Big D Studios. That was. We were trying to make that the guild name, but kind of fell through. Big D Studios.
I feel like I have definitely heard of a company named Forge something.
Forge is pretty common.
Yeah, Forge is
No Donkey Punch Studios. Nobody liked that one.
Aion likes it.
I gave you a like on there.
Thank you.
Blackgate Studios. That also sounds legit. The only one that doesn't sound too legit is Cat Tit Bingo. I just don't think that one's gonna become real anytime soon. But I'd play some Cat Tit Bingo games.
Was there like a poll or something, or?
It was the weekly raid.
Yeah, we just posted. People left comment.
Oh, okay.
So we know who didn't pay attention during last week's podcast.
No, I mean, if there was an actual poll, like I thought there was, like I didn't know there was an actual thing, like where you can choose.
You leave comments. You don't really choose. You just...
Yeah, that's what I was confused about. Matt.
I don't rescind my statement.
All right. Well,
I mean, I participated in this. I wanted to know how mine did. That's why I was wondering if there was a poll.
Oh no, we didn't pull our own. We asked for everyone else. I don't even remember what did you choose, Shu? What was your name?
Mine was Kickstarter and Dash Studios.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's the most accurate one, most honest.
Well, that is it for the podcast, boys. Stick around for the after show, and you'll have a good time.
The after show is where shit gets real.
You'll have a good time after show. Gonna have a good time. Okay, see ya.
Bye. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.
Say bye, children.
Bye.